Okay, we're going to do an update on uranium here. This is going to be very much like the broader market. As you kind of can imagine, the broader market direction is going to be driving everything to a large degree now, considering how bearish things are. If you haven't seen the my broader market update view, check in the description. I have a link to my latest video. The short story there is I suspect the market is going to continue to fall until July, maybe August even. And from there, we'll see if the bounce that we get is a sustained rally. But we are only on week 10 of what is usually a 20 to 25 week cycle. So you can do the math. If the low is on week 20 to 25 and we're only on week 10 and we're already declining, that means we're going to fall for quite a while, right? And uranium is going to follow suit. So looking at the weekly chart first, we are on week 14. Excuse me, I'll zoom in here. We're on week 14. This was a really nasty week. I mean, look at this. At one point, we were bright green. Looked like we are going to make a new weekly high. And then we just came down and made a bearish outside week. Really, really nasty stuff. But also notice weekly cycles tend to go for, more than 20 weeks. So this has got some room to go. It seems like it might bottom before the market, given the timing. Given this is week 14, and the broader market it's only week 10. But this is not something you'd want to step in front of. And looking at the longer time frame, this is much more worrisome. So I pointed this out in my last video. This is I should say April was month 25 since the COVID low. So that's a major low. If we're thinking about a 3-year cycle, that's 36 months. So on month 25, that could definitely be the top for a 3-year cycle, right? So you imagine we get a top on this month here, month 25, and we continue to fall basically until month 36. So that would give us our low around, March of 2023. I mean, we'll have to see. It's entirely possible. I think the thing that it should worry bulls the most is the structure of this chart. I mean, look at this. Now, you might look and say, well, look at this. We recovered okay. But I mean, by how much, right? You can call that a marginal new high. I think more importantly, let's continue to watch. Excuse me. Let's watch the weekly cycle, see where that bottoms, because that's going to give us an indication of that yearly cycle, which again, or I should say the 3-year cycle. And zooming into the smallest time frame, the smallest cycle, the daily cycle. This was Friday. I forgot to mention this is, I'm recording this on May 6th, well after market close. So this is our Friday candle. This is day 36 of the daily cycle. So pretty deep in the timing band for daily cycle low. You can see the last several daily cycles all bottomed. The longest one was day 35 and the shortest was 25. So we're definitely in the timing band, similar to the broader market, which is all to say we're probably going to get a short-term bounce pretty soon, right? A daily cycle low. But at the same time, I mean, look at this bounce, right? This was your swing. This was a swing low. I'm going to zoom in to make sure you can see this. This was a swing low right here, right? You got a swing low once you went above this high right there, right? And then you got a little follow through, but then you got more follow through at one point. This is what created the bearish outside weekly candle, right? This was a really nasty day Thursday. I mean, Jesus. It looked like you were scot-free. Look, it looked like you had another big follow-through day at one point. Like, this was bright green. It's important to understand that the way a candle develops, right? At one point in the day, Thursday, we know for a fact that this was bright green because it opened here, right? It opened here, it closed here. And if we have a wick up here, that means at one point the body was all the way up here, and if it opened here, right? Like visualize that. Think about that. Like, that's a massive, nasty reversal. And I mean, this market is treacherous. If you're aggressive enough to short, there may be some opportunities there, but this is not something where I would be thinking too deeply about taking something long. That said, it's important to recognize when we may get a daily cycle low. Again, it may end up being pretty bearish. Like, if you go back to like this one, topped out on day 11, day 10, day 4, we'll have to see what we get. but we're definitely getting close to at least a little bounce, even if it's something short like this. But you want to be on guard, right? Because as soon as this started reversing, that would have been your like let's say you got long after this swing low, right? You know, and then you stayed long here. It's probably hard to stay long here because we made a pretty big new low. We recovered it all by the end of the day. But like once this started reversing, you want to leave. I mean, I'd say maybe you put your stop at the high of this candle here. So you want to be you want to have kind of have your head on a swivel, ready to just exit. And I'll just take a quick spin around regular, just all the other, uranium assets. All these charts look the same, right? This is the monthly. You can see, again, and I should say, just to be really clear, what we have in place right now is a monthly swing high, right? Once we went below this low, right, like I'll zoom in. Once we went below this low of the monthly candle, that's a monthly swing high. That's really bad news. Um, and again, similar picture for most of these guys. What I will say is, if you look at the yearly chart, not too much to be too not like this is really just consolidation up here, right? As we try to make a push to 45. At the same time, if we're this is a yearly candle, right? So if we're going to consolidate, let's say for even the rest of the year, maybe some of next year, you don't need to be long sitting in here waiting for that, right? You can exit and there will be clear signals to step back in. You're not going to miss the boat. Don't let anyone ever scare you into jumping into something like for that.